Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome yet again to Dr. Pluris Computer Laboratorium. Laboratorium. This thing is done, sort of. My rebuilt, rather than I should say rebuilt, rather than repurposed old QNAP TS809 NAS thing, 8 bay, with now 4 extra external connections here, compatible with the latest and greatest of SAS. Not really latest and greatest, but it takes larger than 2 terabyte drive, so it takes up to whatever size they make, really. I sort of thought that I was done with this series as of the last one, where I troubleshot it, why it didn't boot, and so on. But then I figured all of these videos I made on it, they bombed as everything I try and do really does. So I just wanted to try and go over this quickly. Sure, that's really my forte. But why did I embark on this? How did I do it? And what do I have now? What can this now do that it couldn't do before? Right? Someone has apparently screwed the lid on here. So before, this had a proprietary custom motherboard from QNAP with a standard Intel Core 2 Duo processor, I think. Pretty damn old, pretty damn rubbish, from like 2010 or something. And only like 4 gigs of RAM or something. I think it took like DDR2 SODIMMs, right? Is what it ought to have taken. But now, instead of that, we have a super micro motherboard, an X8 something. It is also from 2011, but this is proper stuff. So we have under here, underneath here, there's a Xeon CPU of moderate power. I have more powerful ones. I don't want to use the most powerful one in this, because this is not very CPU intensive, what this will be doing. We have ECC memory. I should maybe not touch that, considering that they seem to be a bit sensitive. Could also be because I have used them as a stand for my soldering vise and such. But anyway, what I had to do then, I had to rip the old motherboard out. That was easy enough. But yeah, it did require some violence to get the stands that the motherboard was mounted on. And then I had to mark out and drill new holes for this motherboard to fit. So this should now take more or less any standard ATX motherboard. What's nice about this chassis is, of course, that it has 8 hot-swappable drive bays in the front and redundant power supplies. Not bad. Right, not bad. So from here, this you couldn't really call it a back plane, but the drive base. They have these SATA cables. They go into a built-in SAS controller on this motherboard. Lives underneath there. That is of the old standard. So as of right now, this base here in the front can a maximum handle 2 terabyte drives. That could easily be upgraded if I got myself a little converter thingy to put on there, which would then which you could then plug. They have locks on them, which you could plug these into. Then I could get just as large drives as I want in here. But the purpose is I have a lot of 2 terabyte drives lying around because I rebuilt my proper server recently. So to get some use out of those drives, I intend to put them in here and have this as a seldom use machine. That will be powered on, maybe do a backup, transfer a ZFS snapshot from the main server and keep it here and turn itself off again, or something along those lines. Now, the absolutely most time-consuming, and before we get to that, what more did I do to make it actually fit? Well, I took an angle grinder to the back of it, here. It isn't pretty, and maybe not up to safety standards here. It's a bit sharp edges and so on, but this is not for resale, this is only for my personal use, so it's up to me if I want it that way. I would prefer it to have it nice and smooth, but this is what we got. So we have, yes, that SAS card goes to this bunch of wires. It is secured here, and actually I put a bit of protective tape on it, just where I have the zip tie holding it up into the chassis, so it won't scrape on the cables and wear them out, cause shorts to things. Now then, if you watched it, you know what I went through, but it was like 4 straight hours, more or less, not straight, but in a total of 4 hours of soldering to get all this. This is now tied down here with zip ties and everything, so it's nice and tight. But here, for example, is the bus bar connection point for all the grounds, for the connections, for the power connections for the drive base. And I also took out an extra power cable here. You never know what you could use that for, and also power for the system drive. That all goes into 3 cables underneath here, right there. 1 for ground, 1 for 5, and 1 for 12 volts. And that in turn goes into my custom-made connector here. There you go. This bit of it comes from the QNAP power supplies, and the other end I've modified to take out power to the CPU, power to the front of the machine, and power to my external thing. Right? I think it turned out pretty decent, this actually. Now when it's all done. Another thing that I want to show you here now when it is all done is that these fans, they are rather easy to take out. That could have saved me a little bit of trouble if I just would have tugged at them, but there you go. I didn't until I was finished. But they just in case you have one of these, you know that the fans are really easy. You just pull them straight out. But not now, because they are connected and so on. See that they all spin. Yep, they will spin freely. So do we power this on? Yes, actually we do, because right now I have like all this, all the drive base all populated with hard drives here in the front. I'm going to put the lid on so that we get the cooling to work as well as it can. And I'm also going to hook up a few extra drives here. If I have these, you can use these from this. Yeah, that's not one more feature that this has. Is this SAS card, right? It has a connector. I have a cable for that. That is somewhere around here. Maybe I can't be bothered. Here it is. That goes into here, like so. Or the other way around, you never know. The other way around, there you go. And that in turn goes to this chassis, which is just a bunch of drives, really. But we take 4 of these. These are the 2 terabyte drives that I intend to build. Into here. But for now, I'm just using them to get some load. It's a mishmash of everything. We have Seagate Iron Wolf, we have an old Western Digital green, we have Western Digital black. All sorts. And we even have proper ones, Hitachi HGST drives from July in 2010. Guaranteed to be working just as fine, just as good now as when they came off the assembly line. They were not guaranteed, but they are incredibly good quality. These are SATA drives, but they have a little thing on them here that makes them into SAS drives for the box. So I think it should be fine to plug this directly in here. We can also plug this directly into SATA drives, but you should not mix and match SATA drives and SAS drives in an enclosure, such as the one I have underneath here, without this little thing on the end. I can't remember exactly what it is about the specs right now. That is the reason why you shouldn't do that, but there is a reason, and you better not. Simply put, they can make that way because it's on the back plate there. So now we have 12 drives, supposedly spinning ones. That is, here's where I turn it on. We should turn the monitor on, maybe. See if it manages to spin up all these drives simultaneously. That hasn't shut down or anything, so I think it does manage to spin them up. Very good. There. Anything else that I wanted to say about this? What will it run? It will run Arch Linux. It will be ZFS based storage here. The external connections are for when you want to, say you buy a new drive, and before you put it into production within a home environment here, but still I like to exercise my drives and run 3 passes of bad blocks on them, or similar utility. Write the entire disk with known data and read it back, see that you get the same data back. Do that 3 passes. If the drive does that without any complaints, then it's good. But it's not rare at all, even to this day, that a completely new drive from a good reputable car maker, expensive ones, enterprise grade ones, cheapest possible crap, consumer grade ones, whatever. It's not rare at all that you get drives that has a bad sector or two on them, and then I contact the vendor and say that, hey, you sold me a bad drive, and they replace it for you. And you rather find that out before you put the drive into production than later. Even though I'm running ZFS here, so I'm not that worried about a single sector going bad here and there. But still, it's good practice. Many of my colleagues think that I'm a crazy overkill person for doing this. But yeah, the systems I build and deliver to our customers, they do not come back with bad drives. At least not for years. Whilst if you don't do that, you might get just within a week or two a drive failing, and you have to. Well, it's a fucking faff for the customer to replace the drive, or you might have to go out there and replace it, or whatever. Not something that you want to be dealing with, so I prefer to make it properly. There we go. Well, it seems to be booting. Wonderful, lovely. See if we can access all the drives. Yeah, so that's also something, and also this same deal really if you have drives that have been lying on the shelf for a while and you intend to put them back into use. It's a really good idea to exercise them through a program of such a thing, because then if they have any faults, they will show themselves, so you can then make an informed decision of if you want to use it or not. But you should no proofs available. No, because these I have 4 of the drives here that made up my old ZFS RAID array, but it was a total of 14 drives, so not a lot is going to happen there. But in theory, these 8 drives, they should actually contain something. Yeah, I think it's lacking one drive or something, which hasn't started the day up, but we can maybe try. I think so, actually. It's missing one drive, that's right. Because the one drive that is missing here is in the system, but I've done something to it. SDE. Okay, let's do this. There's nothing, we make it a new. There we go, and we set the type to Linux RAID auto detect. There we go. So if we add this drive, how is it you do this again? Add, right, and then you put in the RAID device, and then you put in the block device. Ha! Yeah, that is now rebuilding. It will finish in 200 minutes, it says. That's the advantage of working with small 1 terabyte drives. Operations like this are quite quick. But anyway, those 1 terabyte drives will not be used for anything. That's just for testing here. And there, I think that this contains the file system, but I'm not sure that I want to mount it. I might have to blur the screen here FS tab has been modified. System D, shut the fuck up about my FS tab or whatever. You don't need to care about that. We had mounting systems working on Linux, years before Lennart fucking Puttering decided to, I'm going to reinvent the init system and I'm going to bake every little single thing into it. Yeah, okay, it's been like 10 years since I just gave up and gave into the systemd way of things. It's pretty right, I have to say, but there's also something to be said of the elegance of the old. Indeed, I'm going to have to blur my screen here. This will be really blurred, but I can tell you this much. If we do here, and then we'll see if we can do disk usage in human readable form and max depth 0, see how much stuff I have here. Okay, it's taking its little while to traverse all there is on those drives, it would appear. Yes, but there you have it. That is the NAS. My storage server, my intermittent storage server rebuilt, and I can now throw away a few things. The only thing I can really throw away due to doing this is the only QNAP motherboard that was in this, which is quite rubbish by today's standard, but I did have a look around on eBay, and the asking price for those is like $300-400. $300-400? Are you fucking kidding me? That's half the price of this unit new, and why would you ever need to replace the motherboard in one of these? If it goes bad, just take the drives out and throw it away. It runs standard Linux software RAID. You can put those drives into anything and assemble your RAID array and get your data out. So you don't need to buy an incredibly overpriced motherboard to do that. Or you can do this. You can, if you have like 5 days of work and like soldering, you can do what I did. Replace the motherboard with a super microboard, an old Xeon X58 generation CPU, and DDR3 memory, ECC memory rather than DDR2, no ECC memory, and a crappy Core 2 Duo CPU. 24 gigabytes of RAM is not a lot for ZFS, but then again performance is a joke here anyways, so it doesn't matter. It will be plenty for my purposes. Can we get a total of just how much stuff we have here? Apparently not. See what the thing is up to. It's doing stuff. Do I have like... No. Can we install? No, it's named something different, the package that contains. Okay, this is taking too long. I can't be quite bothered to wait around for a break. See how the rebuild is doing. The rebuild is doing fine. Yep, there you have it. And I have a storage server. And I have spent absolutely no money on this. Although quite a bit of work, it has to be said. Quite a bit of work, but the result is pretty damn nice. It's even rack mountable in case you have a rack at home, which you don't. You have to draw the line somewhere, and a 19-inch rack for computers, that's a bit too close to work to have in the home, I think. So that's it for the series of this. Let me know in the comments if you watch and if you want to see anything more of these types of projects. It doesn't seem so, considering how the videos in this series have done. They've done incredibly poorly. But that's how it is. I sort of enjoyed making it, and I wanted to make this project, and I'm talking to myself whilst doing it anyway. So what I did here was record it. But then the last videos, like from 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, I edited quite heavily, and that takes like a fucking day to edit one of these things down, so it gets slightly shorter, and therefore maybe draws in a few more clicks in the algorithm. But I mean, no, the result is basically the same, so I don't think I'm going to bother really with that work, because it's tedious as fuck, and tedious as fuck. You know, that doesn't make any sense. Do you really say that? Tedious as fuck. I mean, fucking is not tedious, usually. Usually not tedious at all. It can, I suppose it could be, but that should at least be the exception rather than the rule. It's tedious as hell. It's tedious as fucking hell. Tedious as fucking hell. Fucking, I don't know about fucking in hell. That seems hot and warm. But anyway, tedious is something. Yeah, video editing is tedious, and so on. So I should stop rambling now, because my sleeping aid is starting to take hold of my mind. I can feel here, and I'm rambling a bit more than usual. So I should go to bed. Is what I should, and see what I can do about my slug hunting video. Slug hunting video coming up on the Dr. Fluring channel. It might already be out. It is probably out before this comes out. I'm rambling. Thank you so very much for watching. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. God damn it, do you really... Should I really have to say that? I mean, you know how the system works, right? Also, it doesn't seem that important, really. If you... hitting the thumbs up does something, I think. But what really does it is view time. If people actually watch the video, that is what gets it recommended. Liking, subscribing, hitting the notification bell and all of that crap, it does something, but view time is what it's all about. Yep, that's it. Cheerio.